Good morning, children. Welcome back on your science online classes. Yes, in the previous class we had studied about a diseases, type of a disease. How many type of a disease? Acute disease and the chronic disease. What is acute disease? A disease that occurs suddenly and lasts for a short period of time is called acute disease. Example of a few acute diseases are common cold, influenza, malaria, and cholera. Yes, once it is treated, this disease generally do not have any long-term effect. For example, suppose if a patient is suffering from influenza, has a fever, ache, and other symptoms. These symptoms last for a few days only, and after that the patient gets well. This will disappear. So this is about acute disease, means short-term disease we can say, and it is a curable. Then second one we had studied is about chronic disease. What is chronic disease? Chronic disease means a disease that lasts for a long period of time. That is called as a chronic disease. Example of chronic disease are asthma, arthritis, tuberculosis, diabetes. Yes, chronic disease generally cannot be cured completely. Only their symptoms or their effects can be controlled with medicines. Since chronic disease lasts for a long time, that's why it is called as a long-term diseases. It is very fatal disease, very dangerous one. For example, the wound of a person suffering from a diabetes do not heal quickly. A tuberculosis patient loses its weight and tires easily. Chronic diseases are often related to unhealthy habits. For example, smoking or chewing tobacco can cause cancer. Age is also a factor in chronic disease. Chronic disease like arthritis are more common among the elderly people. So, how many type of disease? Two types. One is a chronic disease, and the second one is a acute disease, or the acute disease or chronic disease. Acute disease means the disease which occur only for a short form of a time, and it can be cured easily. That is called as acute disease. Chronic disease means the disease which cannot be cured. It is very dangerous one, and it is a long term disease we can say. That is called as a chronic disease. Now today we are going to learn about the cause of disease, how the disease can be caused. Yes, the different causes maybe it will be broadly. If we are speaking about that disease, how the disease caused, mainly it can be occur by two. First, it is about the internal or intrinsic factors we can say, and the second one that is a external or extrinsic factor. Yes, intrinsic factors means the factors that is which occurs within the body, and factors which occur outside the body, that is called as a external or intrinsic factor. In some diseases, a defect in an organ system causes them to stop functioning normally. The cause of such diseases is internal. For example, diabetes is caused by an internal factors of the malfunctioning of the pancreas. If the pancreas cannot produce sufficient amount of insulin, then the diabetes occurs, and this can occur in the old peoples we can say that it can occur in the old people, and this is occurs because the pancreas does not secrete a sufficient amount of insulin. In some diseases, an organ or organ system stop functioning normally due to external factor. Uh, for example, a diet sufficient in iodine causes the thyroid gland to function abnormally. This causes a deficiency disease like a goiter. So this is what external factor. Or another example, alcohol and tobacco are the external factors that damage or organ and causes a disease. Another external factor is the air pollutants, and air pollutants are the external factors that causes the respiratory system to work abnormally. Apart from this, diseases causing organisms like viruses, fungi, and parasites are external factors. They cause diseases like cholera, influenza, polio, and malaria. Sometimes a number of things increases the chances of getting a disease. For example, smoking and lack of exercise increases a person's chances of getting heart disease. So smoking and lack of exercise are contributory cause of heart diseases. In some diseases like a dirty surrounding can also be contributory disease. If our surroundings are dirty and have a stagnant water near our environment, what will happen? Certain microorganisms like a mosquito will grow in that, it will breed in them, and this will carry an organism and causes a disease like a malaria. Thus, dirty surroundings are contributory cause of malaria, and the organism that actually causes malaria is called its immediate cause. So, these are the factors which are responsible for causing a disease. First one is the intrinsic factor. Intrinsic factor means it occurs internally. Extrinsic factors means the disease which occurs outside the body, that is called as a extrinsic factors. Extrinsic factors may be pathogens, maybe the pollutions, pollutants. Okay, so these are the extrinsic factor. I hope it is clear to you people about the intrinsic and the extrinsic factor. Now let's move to the next topic, that is about the infectious and the non-infectious diseases. Yes, how the disease occurs. Some disease result from infection. Now the question arises, what does infection means? Infection means the entry and multiplication of a disease causing organism in our body. It is called as infection. So disease causing organisms are called infectious agents or the pathogens. Actually, the disease are caused by either by infectious agents or by the pathogens. They include bacteria, viruses, fungi, protozoan parasites, or the worms. These organisms can enter the body in different ways, such as with the food, water, air, etc. Then they live and multiply in the body of the infected individual. The organism in which an infectious agent lives and multiplies, that in other words called as a host, or the presence of infectious agent may affect the normal body function of the individual, leading to disease. So a disease caused by infectious agent is called as a infectious disease, or we can say that communicable disease. The disease which are caused by infectious agent or by the pathogens, that is called as a communicable disease. Example of infectious disease are cholera, influenza, pneumonia, tuberculosis, AIDS, malaria, and filariae are certain infectious disease. Yes, some of the infectious disease which are caused by the pathogens are cholera, typhoid, diarrhea, pneumonia, tuberculosis, AIDS, rabies, measles, smallpox, malaria, filariasis, kala azar, amoebic dysentery, sleeping sickness. So these are the various communicable disease or infectious disease caused by the pathogens. And non-infectious disease means a disease that is not caused by infectious agent, or it cannot be spread from the infected person to a healthy person. That is called as a non-infectious disease. Diseases like diabetes, cancer, anemic, and arthritis are the example of non-infectious disease. So I hope it is clear to you people about that. What is the disease, type of a disease, how the disease are caused, and about the infectious and the non-infectious disease. Infectious disease means communicable disease which can spread from a infected person to a healthy person or by the infectious agent. Maybe it will maybe pathogens. And non infectious disease means the disease cannot be spread from the infected person to the healthy person. That is called as a non-infectious disease. So I hope it is clear to you people. In the next class I will explain you more in detail. So at the this topic um, end of this topic, that I gave the syllabus for the pre-midterm. Yes, lesson 1, the fundamental unit of a life. So whatever I had explained you, yes children, go it once again and keeps on learning. Thank you very much.